this morning, Sam Amico tweeted, and you can take it full, Steve, that the Cavs are open to a potential Darius Garland trade.
Cut it out.
Now,
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Cut it out.
That's a bullshit tweet.
Cut it out.
2 minutes later, after this happened, can you give me the Chris Fedor tweet, Anthony, if you have it up? Chris Fedor tweeted out, Cavs have not had any discussions about trading all-star point guard Darius Garland and don't intend to move him, sources tell Cleveland.com.
Thank you.
This comes real quick with a windy tweet after Brian Windhorst went on ESPN radio here in Cleveland and had this quote. I have some speculation. There's a couple of outlandish stuff that I'm not going to say right now because I'd get in trouble. I wish I could tell you more, and I know I shouldn't tease you.
Yeah, I got beef with all these things. I love Brian Windhorst is awesome, but that's lame to do that. I hate when people come on the show and, there's some awesome stuff, but I can't tell you. Well, then shut the F up.
I agree.
Sam Amico's tweet is embarrassing. We shouldn't even have put that up there. It's a bad job out of Mike. That tweet's embarrassing.
It's blown up on Twitter, so I think
anybody
letting people know
blowing
where
that up on
these are
Twitter is
coming
embarrassing
from.
themselves.
Well, it's because Brian Windhorst said what he said.
That's just there's nothing there. Like Fedor has some stuff to back that up. Okay, he's connected to the GM. He's spoken to the GM. Maybe the GM lied to him.
Are you saying that them moving DG wouldn't be outlandish?
Of course it would be.
So
outlandish.
that's why it's blowing up.
I know that, but Sam Amico doesn't say anything in that tweet.
In the whole article, I just read it. This is the ending paragraph of the article.
Mikey, you can
to
read?
what Sam Amico is tweeting out. Quote, this is NBA silly season when just about anything could happen. This is also Altman, who isn't afraid to shake things up. Cleveland's looking for some size at the wing positions, preferably someone who can shoot. It seems doubtful they would use Garland to find it, but from the sound of things, it's suddenly not impossible. AKA, maybe one team called the Cavs and was like, hey, is Darius Garland available?
AKA, let me tell you the truth. AKA, he don't know shit, and he's just talking out his ass.
Yes.
Okay, that's what happened.
And let me ask y'all this question, though,
You know how fans often accuse us or other people of doing things for clicks? I hate to do that to others. That's exactly what he did there. That's exactly putting something out there for clicks. That's 100% what he did there.
Hey, but McNuggets, let me play devil's advocate a little bit right here.
Shoot, please.
From a basketball perspective, there are only literally maybe 2 to 3 people that are untradeable.
Well, I'm not saying he's untradeable. I'm saying he's putting that tweet out there with no facts to back
I'm glad you said.
He's just talking. He's just talking.
Well, here's what me playing devil's advocate is if
Darius Garland could be traded.
Yeah, if they call up and say, "Hey, look, we got, I would. Here's what you should do. You should look at Darius Garland, right? And you should go down a list and say, okay, well, in what scenario for a 1-versus-1, 1-to-1, would you consider trading Darius Garland?
Right.
And if you said 1 for 1?
1 for 1. And if you get to a point where you get over 10 people, then that's not far-fetched to say that they wouldn't think about it.
Listen to me.
I think a smart GM is open-minded on almost any player at the right price.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna let
you got to be open-minded.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to listen. What's the harm in listening?
I mean, if it's Giannis, you can forget about it. But outside of him,
unless you're trading him for Jokic,
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. But
you wouldn't trade Darius Garland for Jokic?
Stay behind the glass.
No, he said Giannis.
Stay behind.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Now, there's a couple of people, like you said, Giannis. And here's the thing. You're not going to get – and so I've been looking at this little salary cap thing that they've been talking about. And I wanted to say the salary cap was mythical in the NFL, but it's sure not mythical in the NBA. I've done some research, and you're going to have about 2 ball players. That's all you got. You get this year, they can get it off.
No, I think
next year.
I'm about to say after July 1st, when the new CBA come in, that the super team thing is
that's
done.
A wrap.
It's not happening no more. So that's why you see these teams hurrying up making these trades.
And so you got Darius Garland, right? So you got DG. How much is his contract? How much he getting?
So he signed a very team-friendly rookie. Well, it's the rookie max extension.
Okay.
Which, as the salary cap continues to rise, looks more and more team-friendly. So, for example, a regular max extension is what Bradley Beal signed last year. Bradley Beal's making, in the next couple of years, 48, 52, 56, 57. The max at any one season that Darius Garland will count for against the cap is $44 million.
See?
So, comparatively speaking, it is very team-friendly.
So you got a young guy, a all-star, very team-friendly. That's a very valuable contract. Now, if you think about it, you still got to pay Mobley, right?
How many years he got left on that contract? Darius?
4.
4 years.
Darius got 4
He
years.
just signed it
He
last
just signed
year.
the rookie
Just
max
signed it.
extension last year.
Wow.
So you got to think about it. That's worth more to people than you know. Like, come on. Like, if you think about that, you're like, wow, that's a very nice deal. Like, you could get somebody back, preferably that might even be better than Darius
Who
Garland.
you trying
Well,
to? Who are you trying to get?
Plus, think about this too. Times before we answer that question, Darius is a guy who you can trade to any team because he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to say, "Oh, I want out of here."
No.
Now he might turn out to be, but at this point, doesn't seem like that type of guy.
No,
So there's no
yeah.
limit to where you could trade him. So that makes it even more
Well,
valuable.
Darius is one of those guys that if you trade him, people will be excited for Darius because of how young he is
Yeah.
and how the potential that he has. I mean, he's come into the league. He has a great ball handle. He shows that he can get guys like Jared Allen involved offensively. He gets guys involved. He's
Yeah.
the ultimate facilitator, but he can score on his own
Yeah.
as well. So it's very valuable.
I agree with you though. I just don't see who.
Why
you're
would they?
trading him
Yeah,
for.
I wouldn't. For what? He's literally. If the way that we don't know about Donovan Mitchell, if he's gonna stay or not, you ultimately about to trade away the only guy that would be worth anything outside of Evan Mobley. Why would you take him and Mobley and split them up, and then potentially lose out on Donovan Mitchell in a year or two anyway?
To me, I think Darius Garland. I don't know how you feel about this. Darius Garland McNuggets, I feel is like just a little bit less nicer than Kyrie Irving.
I agree.
But he close as hell.
I agree.
He close.
Well,
He don't
I
have the
agree.
wow, but he's 40 beyond the 3-point arc. He's getting you more assists than Kyrie gonna give you. He doesn't wow you with the dribbling. He can finish very well.
Yeah,
His
but you don't
teardrop.
He got a nice handle.
But you don't have to worry about all the.
But he has none of the off court
So
stuff.
why would you get? That's why I'm like, when if the Cavs trade
again,
Darius Garland, I'm done with him.
Again,
I'm done with
If I'm
him.
a smart GM, I'm open to listening to
I'm
anything.
done with him. No.
But I can't imagine somebody really would present me with a trade for Garland that I would do.
And
But-
here's
Unless it's Luka Doncic or something like that.
Here's one thing that I was telling Earl this morning. The point guard position in the NBA is as talented across the board as it's ever been. Like, Darius Garland's a really good player. He's an all-star. Was a borderline all-star this year. If you go through the list of point guards, you have a hard time making, like, the guys between, like, 8 and 12, you can tell me anyone's in any spot, and I'd be like, okay, you can make an
so
argument.
you're
for
saying
that.
he's between 8 and 12?
You want me to just go through the list of names? Tell me if they...
Yeah.
Right now, real quick.
Yeah.
This is how ESPN sorts positions. So, do you consider Luka a point guard?
Yes.
So, Luka or Garland?
Luka.
SGA or Garland?
He's not a point guard. He's
Yes,
a
he
shooting
is.
guard, I thought.
SGA.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
He just made first team All NBA.
I thought he was.
Yes.
I thought he was at the
give me
two.
Shea.
Damian
Shea.
Lillard.
Dame.
Steph
But he's
Curry.
older.
Steph.
You wouldn't trade.
But just say
No,
first
this
round.
is
Who's
just
better?
right now.
Yeah, right. Okay, those guys are better. Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Steph.
John Morant.
Ja.
Ja.
I wouldn't want him.
But just saying. Tyrese Halliburton.
Now give me
Got
Garland.
DG.
Give me
DG.
Garland.
I
Give me
haven't seen him
Garland.
play
DG.
enough.
Give me
Okay.
Garland. I take. Listen, I
Yeah.
like Halliburton, but I don't like your name. It sounds
DJ.
like a company.
Trey Young. I'm just going through names. This is just Trey Young.
Yes.
Trey Young can take over a whole game.
Was in the water supply.
Trey just is a defensive liability because he's so small.
No.
If he locked in, I'd take Trey.
Trey
but-
Young is.
But
Trey Young and Garland. That's a nice.
Trey Young,
Who are you taking between those two?
I think Trey Young is a horrendous teammate as far as playing with him. Like,
Yeah.
I would take Darius Garland. I wouldn't think twice. Jalen Brunson.
I'd take that.
Brunson. I'd take
De'Aaron
Brunson.
Fox.
Give me
Whew,
for
that's
the
a good-
Brunson.
nah, that's a
give
good
me
one.
Darius Garland over Brunson.
Me too.
No, I don't know.
De'Aaron
man.
Fox.
That's a
I'd
tough
take
one.
Garland.
Over De'Aaron
Over Fox?
Fox?
That's
I
a
think you
tough
feel like
one.
how
I
many
don't
years
know
has De'Aaron
about
Fox been in
that.
the league?
70.
No, he's going on his 5th year now.
See,
feel like he's-
De'Aaron Fox has been good, but he's
5
he's
years?
been terrible for Sacramento's been terrible, so you haven't really
give me
paid him
Garland.
attention.
Give me Garland.
Jamal Murray.
Murray.
Drew Holiday.
Give me Murray.
Drew good defense.
Drew Holiday.
I'm gonna take Garland.
I think I might take Garland too.
LaMelo Ball.
Stop.
Garland.
So I just named 15. We had 7 that he was definitely better in, and 6 that were in the mix. So like I'm saying, he's not in that top tier point guards. He's in
Yeah.
that second tier. And when you're trading for a guy who's not in that top 5, and this is not a knock on Garland, the point guard position is as good as it's ever been. The value back for a guy who's not in that top tier, you're not going to get equal value back for as good as Garland is in a trade in a position where dudes are being drafted 2, 3, 4 in the draft, 1 in the draft, come in, make an immediate impact.
Right.
So
How old is Darius?
I just
Darius
don't think,
Garland?
and that's why ultimately trading him doesn't make any sense.
Darius Garland turned 23 this year.
So when his next contract come up, he'll be
27, 28. Yeah.
So,
Going
and out of
to his
all of
28.
those names you just named,
And De'Aaron Fox is 25. by the way.
I'd say maybe that like 3 of them might be retired by then, maybe.
Lillard and Curry,
Yeah.
and Kyrie if he decides to retire early.
Basketball players don't be retiring early, dog.
No, they
But my point is with Garland, he's more valuable to the Cavs than what I think you'd get back in a trade
Yes.
for him.
I agree.
Yes.
So
agree.
I would not trade him unless Luka, unless Giannis or Jokic is on the table.
Yeah, but none of
which
those
they're
guys
not
would be
gonna
on the table. So
I'm not trading them.
The only thing really, the only thing that could be crazy is trading Donovan Mitchell 1 year after getting him.
That's outlandish.
Well, that goes into real quick, Bull.
Yep.
To go back to the Windy tweet, Windy
Yeah.
alluded to some outlandish move the Cavs can make. The question I wanted to ask you guys today before this whole Amico report with Darius Garland came up is, what would be, or what do you consider an outlandish move? And give me an example of something you think could be, quote unquote, outlandish to happen to the Cavs this free agency
Well, I think
period.
G said something before the show that I thought was very interesting.
Bring it up, G.
What was it?
Miles Bridges.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Miles Bridges, I think that might be the outlandish thing. You gotta when you take a word when you look at these prognosticators, right? They try to give you these context clues, right?
They do.
Outlandish. That's like, yeah. He didn't say blockbuster. He didn't say intriguing. He didn't say like this is a hot take. He said outlandish. Like so. If you're looking at what Cleveland is at this point, with a lot of people, a lot of things around, think about it like this. Cleveland is a place where, they got the Deshaun Watson thing.
Rehab.
They had the Kareem Hunt thing. Like they got Imani Bates. Now that happened 2 years ago.
Cleveland is rehab.
The narrative, now for me, I can't say, that's, y'all handled by the judicial system. Sometimes y'all blow it out of proportion.
It's already been dealt with.
It's already been dealt
What
with.
he did
Like, so
was ugly,
at this
but
point,
it's been dealt with legally.
But he still owes some, and he's suspended for a couple of games.
I think
23.
he served his full suspension.
Okay, he served his
Because he only played.
He didn't play at all this year.
He didn't play. Yeah, I think he served his
Yeah, I
full
wanna say he
suspension.
showed-
So,
didn't
so
play.
he is. If you haven't looked up, you could go look it up for yourself. It was domestic violence.
You
So
want
when,
his stats, by the way, G? His last season he played?
I
ahead.
got it right now. 20.7 boards, 4 assists.
Wait,
2
say
years
that- what-
ago.
say that one more-
20.7 boards, 4 assists for Charlotte
He
2
shot
years ago.
49% from the floor and 33 from 3. He'd be a perfect fit.
What's his
on the Cavs.
what's his size? Pause.
6
He's 6'6", 225.
size matters.
And by the way, Mike, he shot 40% from 3 in the year before.
So what you say when he says outlandish,
Yeah.
that's what I think of. I think that the Cavs are honestly looking at it. You look at Michael Jordan; he's no longer the owner of the, not the majority owner. And ownership is going to come in. They want to put their stamp on the organization. At the end of the day, I think he may be a guy that they look at and say, no, we want him off the roster. We're not going to make that move, or we want to move in another direction. And I think he's another person you can get on the cheap in terms of trading, figuring it out. Now, if it's a Jared Allen for him, that might be a trade that people may say is what he's talking about. But when you say outlandish,
That's
I
not
think of a
outlandish.
controversial thing like this.
Good. I would do that trade. I know if you trade for Miles Bridges, there's going to be some people that are going to get up in arms because what he did was ugly. Nobody's defending what he did. It's been dealt with in court. But if the man is allowed to play, we've been through this with Deshaun Watson.
And he certainly
and you can get him, as G said, on the cheap because some teams won't trade for him.
You could probably get him on the cheap. They also just drafted Brandon Miller with the 2nd overall pick, who, guess what, plays the exact same position as Miles Bridges. Now, you can never have too many wings. The Cavs don't have any. Some teams have way too many. You cannot have too many wings, but he is now expendable. I don't think you get him for Allen, though, G. They just drafted Mark Williams in the lottery last year, who is essentially Jared Allen, just 20 years old and a lot cheaper, so I'm not sure why they would take on Allen. But I do think there are some other fringe pieces. You give him some expiring contracts and a deal to get Bridges back, who would be, theoretically speaking, the perfect schematic fit.
And
So you're saying that they wouldn't have to give up. He's a good player that you wouldn't have to give up anything significant to get. Is that what you're saying?
If the new
Isaac
if the
Okoro.
new Hornets ownership says, "Hey, we just don't want to be associated with
Right.
him," brand new, which is very plausible. It
Yeah.
would not be shocking if they're like, "Hey, we're new. We don't want to deal with you. You had your incidents. I know you served your punishment, but we want to move forward." I don't think the return for him, with the baggage he comes with, would be nearly as high as a player of equal talent, skill at that position.
Right.
Would be for Miles
Right,
Bridges.
and he's an all-star caliber player. I mean, at least
27-4 at the premium wing position.
and by
He's
the way-
23 years old.
By the way, McNuggets, he was seen with Darius Garland in photos.
He's
and
25, sorry.
And he tweeted Amani Bates as well, congratulating him on going to Cleveland.
Yeah, they're both Michigan guys.
So I mean, there's
right.
some smoke around it. Like, but
Outlandish to me is trading.
hey, let me know in the chat. We gonna get chat. You tell us, would you be willing to take on a guy like this? Because at the end of the day, what we do it for our jobs, we talk about what the heck's gonna happen on the court.
There's a trade, guys. There's a trade. We'll trade all 6 of those guys. Trade all 6 of those players.
Listen, Sam Merrill sounds like a real estate agent. Dean Wade sounds
That's
like
funny.
he has a law firm.
That's funny.
Lamar Stevens, man, that sounds like a dude that never made it, that was really good at your high school, that could dunk in 12th grade, like 12 years old.
I think Sam Merrill sounds like a kid that was a bully in elementary school, and then a girl punched him in the face, and he never bullied anybody again.
Y'all are.
By the way,
Y'all are rare forward.
Hey, chat, let us know if Bridges is a guy that you would embrace.
No, it's obvious. He said that this player's name has been in the media. The outlandish move is obviously trading. I don't agree. But it's trading Evan Mobley for Zion Williamson.
They're not going to do
Whoa. Whoa.
Look.
Like, hold on. That's listen, that Tyvus,
I'm in.
Tyvus, you sat on
You
that
do
one.
it. You take it.
Tyvus,
Would
you
you-
sat on that one.
Would you take that?
I mean,
Yo.
the problem is Zion
if
Williamson.
he's
That
healthy,
is outlandish.
That's outlandish as hell.
Thank you for following the assignment.
Zion,
sir.
Wow.
Zion is like
Oh, God.
you got to take him and all of his 3 OnlyFans girls that's gonna be at the games.
OnlyFans. I'm down with OnlyFans. I'm all good with OnlyFans. Zion is like
Oh, wow.
seeing the greatest meal on the face of the earth, but it's behind glass and you can't get to it.
Wow.
If
This
he-
is
Because the guy when he's on the court is just unreal.
it's unreal.
But he can't stay on the court, so I don't know if you could trade for him.
McNuggets, Tyvus hit it. That's crazy.
That is outlandish. I love that. Hey, real quick, back to Miles Bridges. We got a super chat telling us, and I was just informed.
Oh, yeah.
He's a restricted free agent.
So you
So
won't have to
the
trade for
Cavs.
him.
Well, I think the most realistic scenario for the Cavs to get him then would be a sign and trade.
Sign and trade.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be able to offer him a mid-level exception as an offer sheet and just have Charlotte be like, hey, we're not going to match that because the assets you get back for that are more valuable. But he's a restricted free agent. Appreciate who sent us that super chat. I just saw it a second ago. But I appreciate whoever in the chat said that. Donnie Brody for letting us know. Bridges is a restricted free agent, which means the Charlotte Hornets could match.
Right.
There
And
could be a
Steve
sign and
Becker
trade
says
worked
he's
out
still
here.
got to serve 10 games of suspension, but who cares? The regular season is just preseason anyway.